Kissimmee's heated up for everybody. Up, it might be starting to turn on here. Those are the ones that Ryan Armstrong has been catching all week. And that is really the first one that he's caught.
All right, folks, we just wrapped up stop one of the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals on the Kissimmee Chain. Ryan Armstrong got it done. You led wire to wire. Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's pretty surreal, to be honest with you. So it's one of those weeks where you find the right spot. You get fortunate enough to keep it to yourself and smart enough to learn how to manage it and learn how many fish you think you got in order to make it last for 3 days. And it's rare with one rod and one spot, but it worked.
I like it. Well, we are hopefully going to get another half day out of it or so, or maybe even like in just another hour out of it.
We're having fun regardless.
It's not sunny Florida today, but can you take me back out and show me how it's done?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, let's get to it. All right, so we wound our way up here, and this is the juice, apparently. So what do we have in front of us?
So we're basically at the mouth of Tiger, leading into Kissimmee, and we ran the windy creek and got in safely. And as soon as we come in here, we sit down in the morning, we get everything out, we get ready, and we start picking apart.
All right, well, I guess let's start picking here, because the current is apparently like prime. There's good water clarity. I think a fish might have just jumped behind us, so I'm kind of eager to go.
One just blew up right there.
Are we gonna flip for this fish here? Oh my God, it was a bass. And it got in the boat, look at that.
Hey, first flip of the entire show here.
Look how fast that was. We're gonna
First
catch
flip.
like 100 fish today.
Legitimately first flip.
Good work, dude.
Hey, I don't owe you $100.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Nice work. So how do you find this area? Because it's like, on the face of it, not super remarkable, but obviously it, you know, in practice it turned out to be.
I thought on a map it looked remarkable. So I came in here and started pitching around, and I was really looking because we had 80-degree days and 60-degree nights for weeks on end.
Yeah, it was nice.
In Florida. And of course, the night before the tournament starts, it gets down to 41 degrees. So the reason why I thought it was remarkable was there was current. And whenever these Florida fish get a cold front, they obviously don't like to bite. So something that keeps them activated to bite, in my mind, was current. So I had actually went and fished another lake in Florida the week prior just to get in the Florida vibe and see what they were all doing and things like that. So I found really big fish and these spider docks basically at the other lake. And so whenever I seen on Google Earth that this mouth I knew would have current, and it had the same exact stuff I was catching them on at the other lake, I mean, I definitely wanted to come look at it. And really the reason I wanted to was planning for that cold front, and just see, like, can I find fish in current? Because if they do, I think it'll hold up. They'll be more active to hold up and position up than actually maybe want to bite.
Ryan, walk me through what exactly you were using this week, because you had a couple of baits, but pretty much same theme the whole time.
Yeah, I was just using pretty much the heaviest equipment I own for flipping. 8-to-5 gear ratio, Shimano Curado DC, Dobyns Champion XP, XPlasma 60-pound, 3/4 ounce weight, owner Jungle HD 5/0, and the 8-foot rod was a big deal because on the initial hook set it's longer and it's stiffer out to the tip. So whenever I hit them, they would come up more quicker because the 7'3", there is a delay there. If you play with it, you see what I mean. And that 8-foot rod hits them faster, and with the stronger tip out there, it makes them come up more vertical. So the key was,
you'd rather fight them like high in the pads
I would much rather get them up as fast vertically as opposed to horizontally. And that way, with the 8 to 5, once I hit them, I reel pretty much as fast as I can and try to keep them up and basically drag them on top of these pads. That's the plan. So as far as my baits were concerned, I pretty much stuck to dark colors. I did try to go to green pumpkin on days where the water was clear. Like right now, the water is on the clear side of things than what it generally is. And that did happen to me. I think it was on day 2. I went to green pumpkin, I generated no bites. But so I stuck with darker baits, just beaver style baits, 4 inches long. June bug, black and blue, standard Florida stuff, nothing special.
Nothing super fancy.
I did make some adjustments though with that. So there was times where you can see like here's flat, but if you look out there, it's windy. So a bait like this, it doesn't have any appendages that flare out. So whenever it falls, it's more of a glide as a real erratic kick. So in the flatter water, I did use things like this as opposed to my tackle bag right here that I used all week long. If you look here, like that bait has these flares, which whenever that falls, they're just going crazy. And I would use that in the wind, you know, where you may throw a chatterbait or spinnerbait, things like that with a little bit more action. You get away with something like that.
Kick.
Some tail kick, yeah. A lot more action, and all these ribs, you know, are displacing water, and you can get away with that in that wind, and maybe those fish are actually set up to be more aggressive anyway. So I wasn't afraid to use something like that. So when I'm fishing shallow like this, I really do read the grass like a topography map, just like your contours on your lake master. So like right here, we have a ditch right here that creates a point, and there's another ditch that runs out into the grass line here. So that creates another point right here, and then we have another lane here. So right here, in my mind, we have 3 ditches that run up, which creates 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So those are really, really high percentage spots, which obviously are, because we know there's a fish currently on that one. I caught a 6 on that one yesterday. Who knows what could be living here, and then who knows what could be living right here in this heart. So it's all, in my mind, I just read all that grass line or coontail or any kind of grass that sticks out. There's so much to read within it, just exactly like a Lake Master card. Whenever you're looking and breaking down a lake, you can break down this grass the same exact method.
With that flip there, like you had in your mind, do you have a lane to get your bait back? Like
yeah, so
just a narrow little slice?
You see that? I can see water all the way. There's a lane there with absolutely no pad, so I can lay that braid right there, and I can get my bait back without the braid touching a pad. And that is what, in my mind, is that lane for me to be able to get my bait through here cleanly and hopping it along those stems. And all those pad stems are all high percentage spots. So if I can cleanly get through it, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I give at least like 4 little sections.
There's at least 5 root systems on one pitch where I just now efficiently hopped along 5 root systems. And that's a high percentage cast. But if I just go in there and just start burying my line in and just bulldozing through everything, then that's a very inefficient cast and potentially a fish that you're not going to catch now because he knows what's up. Ultimately trying to be as efficient as humanly possible.
Ryan, you've been plugging away at these for really a couple of years now. And this win was pretty monumental. I mean, you crushed them start to finish. What was it like? I mean, how do you feel now, you know, day later?
It's pretty surreal, to be honest with you. I knew I had something pretty good, but I felt like I had good stuff before, and then you get 10 boats in there and then it falls apart or whatever. Things happen or conditions change or whatever, and for it to hold together in a tournament in an area that I have to myself, and the conditions didn't affect the weight that I was able to catch, everything to hold together for that long the respect out of the other anglers that knew that I was in here. Poche was one of them for sure. Bobby Bakewell was one of them.
Yeah, there were folks that ran through that, I mean, certainly could have stopped.
They could have stopped. So in order for me to have this to myself, if any of them guys, I mean, if Poche would have came in here or whatever, this would never have happened, because it can't withstand me and him. So it means everything. I mean, it's incredible, you know. So you can't really plan for anything like this. Even when you think it might be able to happen, it has to kind of organically happen. And I think I've learned that a little bit, because there was times where I thought, at the Potomac River last year, I really thought I had a chance to win, and I was in 10th after day 1, and then I completely fell apart. So I learned that when you think it's going to happen, it's probably not going to happen. But I think it can happen when you think you have at least a chance. You know you're around something that has potential.
Yep.
And then it develops. I think is what happened in this tournament. It just developed and stayed together, which is rare. I mean, how often does something like this happen, where you put your head down in one area, you have it to yourself, you're in Florida and you don't see nobody else cast with one, and you use one rod for 3 days? I mean, it's just something that was meant to be, pretty much. I mean, it was my time. And you can't manufacture when it's your time.
No doubt, man. It was awesome to watch. A really cool win. Like, you got to do it, you know, with a big rod. That's always fun. And man, it was a pleasure to watch. And thanks for taking the time. Congrats, man.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate it.